morning, everyone, and happy Friday. I'm going to just jump right into today's session. I was feeling a little bit anxious this morning, and I realized that I was actually labeling my feelings or judging my feelings. So I didn't quite know how to feel out the session, so I pulled some cards to begin. And the first card that I pulled was from a homeopathic deck that I personally made. I don't know if you can see it well. I don't know if the glares. Anyway, I made a homeopathic deck of herbs. And so this one is mint. So we're going to anchor and bring in the homeopathic remedies of mint. So mint is good for digestion. It's also good to release tension, to release depression, relieve anxiety. It's great for breast health, especially for nursing mothers, that if they're having pain from nursing, mint helps alleviate pain. And as soon as I tuned into mint, I felt a contraction around the heart and in the lungs. It was almost like the lungs were swollen or moving in and compressing the heart. So everything needs some space to breathe. So we're going to run homeopathic mint remedy to counteract depression and anxiety held within the heart. So I could feel that the heart contracts in, and I'm finding it really hard to breathe. And then when I go into the lungs and they feel swollen, I'm coming up with guilt. So the emotion that's well, guilt, yes, can be experienced as an emotion or a feeling of having a feeling of guilt, but this is going in way into the past. So if you think about yourself 3 years ago, a week ago, 10 years ago, things that you did when you were little and you cringe, and then you're like, oh my God, I feel so bad. I feel so guilty. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I said that. I wish I can change something. We need to dispel that guilt out of the lungs. It's blocking up. I can see it clogging the pleura, the alveoli, that's within the breast. Oh, even as I'm talking, I'm finding it hard to catch my breath to speak, and I'm talking really quickly. So I'm going to bring in consciousness of slowing down, slowing down. So we're going into the micropleura of the lungs, the pleura of the lungs, the bronchioles, and we're going to use biogenics to dump to dump guilt and any shame that comes along with it, to going back into the past and looking, memories like, oh my God, that's so cringeworthy. Oh my God, that was so cringy. That's what's coming up. It's like, oh God, I'm so embarrassed. Oh God, I feel so ashamed. Oh, I feel so guilty. I shouldn't have said that, or I should have done something more. So I'm going to link this to your prefrontal cortex and run an active memory to beating yourself up or going into the past and feeling guilty for things that have transpired. Okay, so we're going to dump this to the diaphragm, small intestines for synthesis and release. Bringing in also mint is great as an antibacterial and antiviral properties to it. We're going to bring in the homeopathic remedy of mint to the lungs to cool them off, to give a nice cooling sensation. So it's like if you have a really bad cough, what a great thing to do is, especially when it's cold, you open the windows and you breathe cool air, and that helps to open up the airways. So we're going to use mint to open up those airways, release those active memories, running that active memory thread. Going to link that to everyone's prefrontal cortex, is going to be different for everyone. And you may not relate on all levels, but wherever your body mind relates, that's what's going to shift. There's a burp there for that. And we're going to bring in a repair to the lungs. We need to improve the functioning of the lungs so they take more air in. And also there's an environmental impact coming in here. So we're going to balance environmental impact from pesticides, toxins in the air, any pollutants, anything sprayed, or, I'm going to leave it as additives to the air. There we go. So we got to balance the lungs. We can't have we need to be adaptable, right? Our bodies need to adapt. These toxins come in, can't really do anything much about that. But we need to be adaptable for our bodies to be able to dump this toxicity. So we're going to bring in consciousness of adaptability, and then also improving the function of the lungs to take in more air, to take in more breath. In essence, take in more life. Not more life, but to live more fully, to be more fully present. There we go. So now the lungs there's a relaxation in the lungs, and we're going to move to the heart, and it feels really squished in there. So we're going to, that cardiac notch where the lung sits, and the heart, where the heart sits within the lungs, and that cardiac notch, it feels really contracted. We need to bring in some space in there so the lungs can go into their proper function, and then the heart can be, and there's so much anxiety here. I don't even know what to do with this. I could go nice and slow. We're gonna dump thoughts out of the heart, all those incessant thinkings, memories over and over and over, old stories over and over and over. And these stories are coming up as, if I just change myself, then I will be lovable. If I just am this, then I am lovable. If I just tweak this about myself, then I will be lovable. Then I will be accepted. Then I can love myself. So it's very conditional in here, that it's conditional. So we need to dump those memories and of those recipes that you set up for yourself, whether they're hand-me-down recipes through your family, so there's no one to blame. It goes on and on and on for eons until you were a little amoeba. So, your parents got it from your grandparents, and grandparents got it from your great-grands, and then you keep going down the lineage. So there's no one to blame, not even yourself. Okay, but what do we do about this mess? Well, we take a look at it and we slowly go into here it is. To undo the knot, you have to go into the knot. There's no avoiding it. So in comes this defense mechanism. There's a few things going on. Avoiding is coming in. So all of these memories may be flooding your heart, or, coming into the mind. So love lost, I need to change myself. I'm not able to, if I just tweak this about myself, then I'll find the perfect partner, or then I can attract a relationship, or then my relationship will improve. So we're in this relatedness here within the heart. So any kind of relationship, right? Whether it be a personal relationship to yourself, to your family members, to your siblings, and there's this concept of, I need to change myself to be acceptable, to be lovable, to attract, blah, 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 blah. I can go on forever. So we're going to dump it actually as doing an pathological consciousness of the heart of, I need to change myself in order to, and then you can fill in the blank. You can fill in the blanks for yourself. And then over the heart, over that pericardium, we need to dump the consciousness of misperceptions of self. So it's all of those masks that you wear. How am I going to say this? How is this coming up? I'm just going to go quiet for a moment. Those masks that you wear when relating to other people, or when bringing my best foot forward is what's coming up. It's like not being able to just live, just be your authentic self, whatever that is, even if it's goofy, even whatever. Putting my best face forward, whatever that means for you. All right, so we're going to dump all of this. We're going to run active memory as well. And the permission statement is coming up is I give myself permission to love myself. I give myself permission to love myself. And I give myself permission to relax. Just relax. That pushy energy doesn't do anyone any good. There's that release. There we go. Am I tapping this in here? I'm going to tap this part in here. And we're still moving forward. We're going into, it's really a very relationship-based session. I was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting that for today. So what a surprise. So I pulled some more cards from my rune deck. It's by Ralph H. Blum. And the cards that I pulled up first were the partnership card. So this is such a beautiful card. But since we're doing a session, so this could be a session for you. This is about your feminine and masculine. This is about your feminine and masculine essence. And I could feel this pushiness and not really understanding or really not knowing the nature of your feminine and masculine essence, what each does for you in your own body. And then the expectations are, oh, I know what my masculine does. I know what masculine is. I know what feminine is. And those are based on your expectations or your recipes of what a masculine person is, or that masculine essence and that feminine essence. And then often within that, within you, the masculine and feminine are at war. They push each other. So it could be my feminine within me, you can see makes demands of my masculine, my feminine. So your feminine, you can see for yourself. I'm just going to use myself as an example. My feminine pushes my masculine to do more. My feminine pushes my masculine to do more. My masculine pushes my feminine to be more nurturing, to be more intuitive. Or my masculine pushes my feminine to make sure that my intuition is always on point. My masculine pushes my feminine, and the feminine pushes the masculine. So we need to do an untwisting. We're going to go through that Sushumna and the Ida Pingala channels, which is the masculine and feminine, with those, there we go, nice burp. Those Ida and Pingala channels are the masculine, feminine interlooping. So it's like the yin and the yang. Everyone has a masculine and feminine essence. So we're going to start to do a seed to these channels and a differentiation of dumping these expectations and recipes that you have within yourself, that you do to yourself. So you masculine pushes your feminine makes demands of your masculine. And then you put that out into the world, let's say within partnerships, relationships, marriage. And then you expect those very things that you do to yourself onto other people. Oh, men or masculine should do this because I expect this of my masculine. And then you go out there. Or then you attract something and say all men are the same and all women are the same. As a misunderstanding, a complete ignorance to your own feminine and masculine energies. So we're going to doing a seedry to your masculine and feminine by breaking down those, by starting to break down those recipes and expectations that you have and that you force yourself. So you can start to see your own your own pathology. And a good way to see your own pathology is to maybe if someone says something about you frequently, so your kids say maybe you never listen or you push me, so you push me a lot, that it could be a clue. Or someone says, oh my God, so and so is so uptight, or they're really pushy. You can see for yourself where you do this within yourself. So this is a complex, feeling a little dizzy. It's a really big part of the formula. So just take a nice deep breath, and I could feel it going up into the pons, into the midbrain. We're going to release memories from the of relationships. So for all people, men and women, when you were a child and a parent, a masculine, so this is father coming in, you did not feel supported by your father. And there's huge amounts of grief coming in here. So we're going to dump grief out of the myelin sheath of not feeling supported and protected by the man in your life when you were a child. We're going to run that. We're going to stream those active memories out of the myelin sheath. Oof, there's so many tears coming up. And deep grief out of that myelin sheath and out of the nervous system, as it's coming into making recipes here where men are unsupportive, men are unprotective. But that's one of the men protect and provide. That's one of their natural essences. That's one of their natural urges as the masculine essence. It provides and it protects. It's very simple. So I want you to know that this is very basic. And if you want to learn more about masculine and feminine energies, David Data is a great author and worker to to dive into that a little bit deeper. So we're dumped for now. We're going to dump that not being protected when protection was needed, as this is as a child. So it's not as an adult. Oh, I feel like I'm unprotected. This is as a child. So we're dumping, it's coming up really big, the sins of the father, where your father or that father figure did not step up and take responsibility. We're dumping that out of the nervous system, dumping those active memories out of the nervous system and the myelin sheath. And we're doing the same for the sins of the mother, where the mother did not, as a child, did not give you, or you did not receive nurturing. Nurturing. So that's actually more feeling in the heart. So we got to dump those sins of the mother off of the heart, where you have a cold mother, an unfeeling mother, very stonewall, very stoic, which is very rigid. So we're going to dump that out of the heart's nervous system. We're going to dump that running active memories as well. Anytime that as a child you really needed that nurturing, that it was completely ignored. So this often comes in to forcing of, cry it out. It's no big deal. The baby's crying it out. Babies don't cry anything out. So this baby's cry as a signal of and having a basic need there, but different ways of doing things and different ways of thinking, they leave the babies to cry and to cry it out. And there's been new studies found that the babies actually don't cry it out, that the reason why they stop crying is because they've given up on their basic needs to be met. So if you want to do some more research on that, you can go ahead for yourself. There's been a big shift in that. Oh, I'm feeling really dizzy. So I'm going to stay right here. Again, you can look at David Data's work to dive in deeper. right, the last two cards that I picked up from the rune deck was the warrior card, which is about patience. This is also about the warrior using that spiritual warrior where your own is the self, exploring self, so capital S. So going inward for your own spiritual quest, and comes in, this is also has to do with discernment. So we're right into that small intestines and we're bringing in discernment. And we're just highlighting that so that your body mind can make sense or discern this session. The work can work for you on whatever level you are at, whatever you need. And then in comes the joy card. Wonderful. We all need a little bit more to experience and see the magic within our own lives, to have that joy, waking up and feeling joyful in a sense where you're recognizing that your life is a gift. So we're tapping this in here. It doesn't feel quite complete, but this feels like a lot of work for today. So I'm going to run this as link it to your prefrontal cortex and do this like I like to call a slow drip. Not all the heat, so it's going to run over slowly. This session is going to run for the next, then until we meet again for another 7 days slowly. So there it is. There's that release I was waiting for. Really, really, really slowly. Nice and gentle. Do nothing and all gets done. So no forcefulness. So you are not the doer, you are being done. So when you start to feel yourself pushing and forcing yourself, tune into this session. Tune into relaxing, tune into rest, tune into today I am going to do nothing but breathe and rest. And then notice that your body will naturally get moving. And if you start thinking to yourself, yeah, but Monica, I've got so many things to do, then breathe and rest. You've got it all wrong. Then you don't really fully understand. And there's more things to explore there. There is nothing to do except breathe and rest. You are not the doer, you are being done. And your only job is to breathe and rest. And I don't really like job. The only thing to do is breathe and rest. There, the gut has relaxed. All right, darlings. See you next time. Thank you for being here with me. Disclaimer, I am not a doctor. You're having an emergency. Get yourself to a doctor. All right, see you next week.